in my personal life, re-evaluate where I'm going with my life, or change my living circumstances. You recognize some of that? Well, most of us come up with big ideas like these, but they tend to quickly get squashed in the background forever through thinking such as, lovely idea, but I could never do that. It's too big for me right now. I mean, well, let's be real, you know your place. I'd never be able to achieve it. You're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Oh well, maybe one day, but not today. So, why do we do it? It can appear as if we are self-sabotaging. We want to make the dream happen, yet we appear to endlessly delay or obstruct our own plans. In this process, I want to apologize because my throat is not okay, and sometimes my voice will fall down. But anyway, and this process undermines peace of mind. So, why do we not take action? There can be many reasons for this apparent self-sabotaging or negative thinking, such as we've been taught as children not to have high hopes or high ideas or dreams and to know our place. We did have great hopes at one stage, but they came to nothing. We failed in the past and declined that was that, never again. So it doesn't help when the positive thinking brigade, in the form of well-intentioned friends and relatives, offer their advice. You just have stop being negative and start being proactive. Or they will tell us, believe in yourself or love yourself. Just do it. Or seize the day, seize the chance, and etc., etc., etc. Let's you want to prepare a lovely meal for family or friends, but you don't like following recipes. Much too confining. I like to just do it intuitively. So you may throw everything in the pot, heat it up, and then serve the resulting mess. Although it's unlikely to be well received, this doesn't mean that you are a poor cook, just that you haven't followed a recipe. So let's say that instead you decide that just this once you carefully follow a recipe. So you cook the ingredients in a particular order, which brings out the individual flavors and textures. Result? Delightful meal, but made by the same cook. So, when it comes to turning your dreams into reality, what may appear to others to be negative thinking or self-sabotage or a lack of determination is often simply the result of muddled and unclear thinking, the result of not following the right recipe. We often don't get around to doing the really important things in our lives because we are not using the right thinking tools. In particular, we allow 3 different styles of thinking, each of which is very valuable in itself, to undermine our dreams because we throw these into the same pot and at the same time and end up with a confusing and discouraging mess of thoughts. So this NLP approach to using your brain efficiently is similar to cooking. And the Disney strategy is like a recipe for turning your goals or dreams into reality. It gives us a way of separating out these three styles of thinking so that we can benefit from each of them. How did it start? The strategy was devised by two people, Todd Epstein and Robert Dilts. You know Robert Dilts, of course. The two are NLP trainers from US West Coast, and the strategy is based on the strategy which they identified in how, not who, but the Walt Disney the way he brought his visionary ideas for animation films from dream to reality. They observed that when Disney had a plan for a new film, the people around him recognized that he seemed to go through three phases of thinking, which they named dreamer, realist, and critic. Somebody some of the closest people of Disney quoted. I'm going to quote him here. There were actually three different Walts: the dreamer, the realist, and the spoiler. You never knew which one was coming into your meeting. So Walt Disney used each of the three styles, but in sequence rather than simultaneously. This produced action. Many of us muddle up the three styles, producing confusion, disenchantment, and eventually inaction. The Disney strategy provides us with a systematic way of turning dreams into workable plans. Or, as is sometimes the case, evaluating the dream and recognizing that it's simply not workable. It's one of my favorites, as I told you in the beginning, partly because it is so simple, and especially because it is a great method for taking those huge, daunting projects and transforming them into manageable goals. Sorry. It does take a while to explain the technique in text and in speaking, rather than demonstrate it. And those of you who were at the residential, they had the chance to use the methodology and to work with it. But anyway, I will go through it and I will explain it to you step by step. And you will see that once you've run through it once or twice, you'll see how easy it is to use and how quickly it can be done. It's really fascinating. So, are we ready to go through it and get prepared? I'm sure we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, preparation stage 1. Come up with a dream. So I guess that most of you have something to write, something in front of them. So please think of a dream. This can be anything you wish, something you'd like to achieve, a change you'd like to make in your life or your work or profession, or personal change such as improving your fitness or health. Make sure it's something quite stretching, meaning it requires you to move into your stretch zone or outside of your comfort zone. Why waste such a wonderful technique as Disney strategy on a mediocre goal? So just go for it. Just write it down, because in a minute we will be working on that to make it happen. Preparation stage 2. Set up the 3 locations. You may do it in the room where you are sitting, and while you're listening to me, you may step on each of the locations, or you may just think of them in your mind and do it in your mind. So select 3 locations in the room. Some people find it helpful to have a 4th location, And this is a sort of neutral location in which to take time out from the strategy. I will talk about this at the end of the methodology. So, the first location is the dreamer. Here you allow your imagination to run free. You consider your vision and the benefits of achieving it. The second one is the planner. Here you can act as if the plan is entirely possible. Your job is to look for ways to make it happen. The planner, as you know, is more commonly called the realist. But because of the similarity between being realistic and being constructively critical, I will use the name planner here, just for more clarity. And the third one, that's the critic. That's the one most students are fearful of. But he's our friend. Here, you look for flaws and loopholes in the plan. Act as the constructive critic. In critic role, you only interact with the planner, not with the dreamer. Aim to find weaknesses, problems, and ensure the success of the plan. But leave the resolution of these potential weaknesses to the planner. Make sense? We have silence, so I guess it makes sense. Okay, so preparation phase 3. Attach feelings to each location. This is something new, and this is really something that I very much like. So, ladies and gentlemen, to help you get into the ideal state for each location, what we will do here is we will anchor the state to the location. Think about one or a couple of times when you were doing the activity associated with the location. So we'll do it now step by step. So you may imagine stepping in the location of the dreamer, or you may actually, if you prefer to walk in your room now while I'm speaking, you may step into that location. So the dreamer. Think of times when you were daydreaming, fantasizing, or allowing your imagination to run free. Step into the dreamer location and for a few seconds relive one or two such moments and anchor the feelings associated. And then comes the planner. Think of times when you were enthusiastically engaged in planning things such as work, projects, or family holidays. And now step into the planner location and for a few moments relive one or two such moments. And now comes the critic. Think of one or two times when you were able to constructively criticize your own plans or those of others. The emphasis here is on being constructive rather than destructive. Just remember that. Be constructive, not destructive. Think of the state of mind that you used. And now, step into the critic location and relive such these moments. So that's it. Your preparation is done, and you are now ready to subject your own dreams to Disney creativity strategy. So now, imagine, because it's Christmas, imagine that I am now like Santa, and I will be guiding you through making your dreams reality. Imagine you're daydreaming. Imagine that Santa is there. So I advise you, because I will be giving some questions here, just work for yourself now, and you will get all the questions with the recording when it is uploaded in Noble Manhattan area, in the student area. So just work for yourself. I will be going through the strategy with you, and at the same time I will be doing the teaching. So I will be explaining some of the steps. So, the dreamer. Either imagine stepping into this location or step into it physically in the room. Take a moment to reconnect with what's it like to imagine freely. Now think about the big picture of your dream. Visualize it creatively and without inhibitions, as if anything is possible. Consider the benefits of achieving it. And if you happen to sometimes do this strategy alone, you can use it as self-coaching too. And to help you think more clearly, you can ask each of the questions that I'm going to ask you now aloud, and answer them aloud for each of the stages. Or you might make a recording and play the recording on every stage. So we are now at the dreamer's location. And the questions are, what do I want? And you may take notes. What do I want? What will I be doing? And where will I be doing it? At this stage, everything is possible. Just allow yourself to dream. When will I begin? When will I begin? Where? Where will I begin? Where from? Why do I want it? What's the reason it's important to me? Just take your time and imagine freely, and allow the answers to come. What are the benefits of achieving this? How do I benefit from having what I want? What will this mean about me as a person? How will it benefit those who are close to me? And now, when you have allowed some time to dream, we are ready to step into the planner location. Either you imagine stepping into the planner location or just do it if you're doing it physically at your home. Connect with your planning mode feelings. Now, acting as if the dream is fully possible and achievable for you. Come up with a plan to make it a reality. Our aim here is to make a plan. Do this in a practical and realistic way. You as coaches know what this means. Aim to develop a detailed and manageable plan of action. So it's planning time. And here are the questions. How can I make this dream happen? How can I make it happen? What are the main chunks or sections of this dream? What are the main chunks or sections of this dream? How do they follow one another? What steps must I take to make each chunk happen? What particular steps must I take to make each chunk happen? Look at all the steps that you have written and answer the question, why is this first step necessary? Why is it necessary to be done? Look at the second step and ask yourself the same question. Why is it necessary? And the third one. Why is it necessary? And do this for all the steps. What resources, like time, people, money, effort, do I need to make it happen? What resources do I need to make this dream happen? What are the needed resources? What will I see and hear that will be evidence that each chunk has been achieved? What will I see and hear and maybe feel that will be evidence that each chunk has been achieved? How will I know? What will I see and hear that will be evidence that the dream has been achieved? How will I know that the dream has been achieved? What will be the feeling? What will be different? And now, if you have finished with the planner stage, let's step into the location of the critic. And remember, you are active as a constructive critic, not as a destructive one. This guy here, he's not the saboteur. He's your friend. So step into that location and ask yourself, what are the weaknesses in this plan? Just think constructively. What are the weaknesses in this plan? What is missing? What should be there but is not there in the plan? What is inappropriate? What is inappropriate? What problems could occur? What problems might arise? Who might object? Who will be unfavorably affected by this? who might object, will be unfavorably affected by this. When and where might this not work or not be desirable? Just think, when and where might this not work? Any other weaknesses in this plan? And when you answer yourself, you might recycle if necessary. And I will just now explain you how you are doing this recycling. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've now completed round 1. If it's a really big dream that you have chosen, some really good stretching vision, it will probably require a number of cycles between the critic and the planner. And that's great. It shows that you are aiming to stretch yourself rather than going for something smaller and safe. So, here is how to do this cycling, going through one stage and the other. Firstly, having completed the critic stage, move back to the planner location. Secondly, revise the plan. So, from the critic stage, you step back into the planner's location. Then you revise the plan, but not the dream. You revise the plan based on the critic's comments. Then you go back to the critic location again and assess the revised plan. And you may continue this cycling back and forth between planner and critic until you have a sound, workable plan. With the big undertakings, it may be useful to run the whole process every day or 2 for a week. So, you see, just doing it once might not be enough. So, every day or 2 for a week, it might be even for 2 weeks, depending on how big your vision is, how big your dream is. And if you cannot come up with a sound plan, which the critic approves of, you may need to go back to the dreamer location and modify the dream based on this cycling through. But you only change the dream when you are absolutely sure that a workable plan cannot be achieved. Okay, so I will leave you a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, if you need to do the recycling for yourself. And then I will be here waiting with some feedback. What has happened for you? I would be really happy if somebody shares what has happened. What results did you achieve? So take your time for a minute or 2 or 3. And when you are ready, you may unmute yourselves, or you may write down in the chat box your experience. Tell us. ready. We have hands here. Jeremy
Okay, so
and
Piotr
we have
wrote something.
Piotr. For me, as of now, it is more to learn the method. Okay, I would need more time to practice. Wonderful. Yeah. We have Muska ready. We have Pavel ready. Okay, who wants to talk? Jeremy, how about you? Would you like to unmute yourself and tell us what happened? I know you were at the residential in Sofia, so you know this methodology, and it is not something new for you. So probably you have experience.
Yeah, I chose something that I've already started working on, but maybe I haven't done it methodically. I haven't really gone through the stages methodically. So I like the idea of the recipe because I always say that anyone can cook, but most people don't follow recipes. So it's a very good analogy. I didn't get any kind of wow moments myself yet, or aha moments, but as I say, yeah, maybe I need to work more on it.
Well, maybe it was something big that you have chosen, and time is needed here.
Yes, yes, it's kind of change in my, let's say, my, not exactly profession, but inside my profession, it's changing the focus of what I'm doing.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Muzaffara, was this the right emphasis? Muska, would you like to unmute yourself and tell us what did you experience?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, I wrote down because I prefer, I'm a bit shy. I prefer to write rather than speak. But anyway, since I'm here, I'll say it did a little bit of magic, really, because I mean, I remember from residential as well, and now going the second time through all three steps, the dream became a little bit like clearer or more achievable. Gave me a little bit more energy to go through the planning and the critic part. And I don't know, for me, myself, it just worked much better. I can imagine the third and fourth time, I'm sure it would be even easier, or that's just my optimism.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. It will become more familiar to you. And what is most important during the residential, I saw people that kind of mixed the two locations, the critic and the realist. This is why I changed the name of the realist as the planner, in order
Yeah.
to make the difference.
Yeah, it does, because planner gives you really like things to plan because it's so clear, and I think it's more appropriate.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you too. So I see Ganka also wrote here, it is so difficult for me to dream. But I succeed. Thank you. I need more time to complete the plan, but I will cycle between the critic and planner position in the next days. Good luck, Ganka. Good luck. I know it is not easy, especially sometimes we in our society, we were kind of not kind of not taught to dream, and we consider dreamers like somebody who is not who are not serious, people who are not serious, and we tend to be serious. So it is sometimes very difficult to free ourselves from this. I think Pavel Pavlov, yes. Pavel, would you like to unmute yourself and to share with us what did you experience?
It is quite personal to share, but I would say that it was kind of brainwashing. I really felt open to dream, but dream in a realistic way. Dream for things that are doable. And well done for changing the name, changing the names. I think that works much better.
Yeah, I thought so. I really looked how people were struggling at the residential with the two concepts.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I see Irina writing here, is there any situation in which the critic interacts directly with the dreamer? As I mentioned, it is only if the dreamer and actually if the planner and the critic cannot come with a plan. This might mean that the dream is not realistic and it might be changed. So usually you step at the dreamer's location and you imagine, remember when you stepped into the location, what I told you is, okay, imagine freely, but think of something doable. Because sometimes some of the dreams might be just something in our imagination, something that is not realistic at all. So if that's the case, then you go back to the dreamer stage and you either realize that the dream is not realistic and you drop it, or you change it and then go back between the two stages again. Did this answer your question, Irina? While you're answering, I will read Larissa, what she wrote. For me, was really nice to dream. I will step stronger on the planner steps in the next days. Okay, great. So I guess you have been working with big dreams. So good for you. Go and do it. Okay, yes, I was just wondering if the motivation will not drop drastically. Well, it depends what you really want. And what do you mean by the motivation dropping drastically? If this is not an achievable dream, if this is not realistic, then what's the sense of doing it? But if this dream, even if it doesn't sound realistic, is something really big for you and you have an internal belief that you can do it, well, go for it. This will be a life experience. Okay, so as we are running out of time, I will show you the fourth, here it is, the fourth location, and that's the location of an observer. I sometimes, when I use this methodology, and not only this methodology, but when I use role-playing, and especially such NLP techniques that require moving around the room, then I use this observer location. I am taking my clients out of the cycle and I am asking them to see through the eyes of an observer, of a neutral observer, what is going on there. Is there something that neither of the roles, neither of the participants observed? Is there something strange? Is there something that could be added? Is there something that could be done differently? And then I am getting my client back into the cycle with this new information. So this is something that you might do or you might not do. It depends on your intuition, how you feel about it. Because when you're in the process with the client, your intuition will kick in and you will feel it. You will know whether you need to do this or you don't need to do it. So, I have one question because I see Irina. Is it advisable to repeat the exercise several times on the same topic or usually one session is enough? Well, I told you at the end when we were speaking about the cycling that it may be useful to run the whole process, the same process with the same dream every day or two for a week or for 2 weeks. Or if it is big enough, it might take you a month. So you may do it as it is necessary. The so many as many times as you need to. So yes, it is advisable to repeat it. It is not well, not all the time things happen like as if you have a magical wand. You just need to make it, to go through it over and over and over again. So just go for it. And now, to finish with what we have done here, I have 2 questions for you, because this is my last webinar with you for this year, and hopefully we will hear each other next year too. But what has been the greatest takeaway from this webinar, firstly, for you? Okay, clear strategy. Muzaffara, clearing up the steps for the Disney exercise. Denisa, the beautiful dreamy voice. Okay, thanks. Anna Maria, to remember our dream all the time and head for it. Okay. Yes, do. And work for it. Just work for it. Because it's there. Wearing different hats, being objectives or objective. Yes, true. Wonderful. Okay. Great. And now, okay, Pavel, moving back and forth between planner and critic. Okay. And Ganka, for me personally, I realized that I can dream professionally, that I can apply it several times if necessary. Yes, you can, and please do. And Gertrude, the simplicity of following 3 steps is powerful. Yes, usually the simple things are very powerful. And this is an insight that I got a couple of years ago. Piotr, dreaming is not an easy task. Oh no. Being real critic is more everyday activities. Yes, it is. It is, and dreaming is to set you free, to go beyond the boundaries. Okay, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, Andrea, okay, choosing different locations for each role. Yes, you know what you can do. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I didn't mention it. You might ask the client to choose the locations and to choose the scene where this is going to happen. So you remember, we as coaches, we don't do the work of the client. We ask the client to do that. So, and my last question for this year for you is, what has been your greatest takeaway from me in general for this whole year that we have been together with most of you? The coaching report approach in presenting the webinars. Okay. We are coaches after all. detailed presentation of topics, Anna Maria. Thank you, Muzaffara. And it's always good to hear your voice. It helps dream easier. Okay, I never knew that. Thank you. Your passion. Well, that's interesting. I thought it was only me who knew that I'm passionate about coaching. Piotr, for me, it is the first time to attend webinar with you. I hope not the last one. Smooth presentation. Looking forward to next year cooperation. Yes, me too, Piotr.
Yeah, so I was about to say that tonight, a lot of the people that we have on the call, majority of them are actually for the first time. So you all who are attending for the first time, you really had luck catching Rally. You have missed a whole year of Rally. But of course, if you are a student of Dell Manhattan, you can always go back and watch it and listen to it, so you can get everything that she has given of herself, and she's given more than that. But at least this year's webinars are recorded.
Yeah. So this is why I just told you, just use this methodology to work on yourself, and all the questions will be there. They will be uploaded, and you will have the recordings, and you may go through them at your ease. So just work for that. So ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. I wish you all the love and all the magic, and I hope you really have the magic of dreaming, because dreaming, it's priceless and it's freeing, even if it is like daydreaming. So just allow yourselves to dream, and then do not let your dreams be just dreams. Make them into plans and reality. So very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you probably and hear you next year.
Thank you so much, Rally. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And with these wonderful wishes for Happy New Year, I wanted to also add 3 happy news that we have for next year. That the dates of the residentials that Rally mentioned, where you can practice live with our trainers and other students, these techniques in great detail and great depth, are already chosen and decided. And you will be hearing more about this, of course, over the months. But if anybody of you has calendars, you can mark it that in March 8, 9, and 10, there will be a residential in Turkey. Later in June, the dates are 7, 8, and 9. It'll be in Sofia, Bulgaria. And in September will be the 3rd international residential. It'll be on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of September in Romania. These are 3 opportunities that you can all meet all of our students from around the globe. We all gather together in various locations, and this year, in 2019, will be Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania. So I look forward to seeing you, and you'll be able to see both Rally and me and Gerard and Dima Klaniken and all of our wonderful mentors and trainers and master distributors. So looking forward to seeing you and having together a wonderful new year. Thank you, and enjoy your holidays, your Christmas, and the New Year. Good night.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Good night.